Charles. Today, we're going to be reading from the Book of Moron. We're right here by the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but it's Mexico Day or something. What's
Every
going
day is
on
Mexico
here?
Day in America now. But it's, yeah, you can see the string. We just had a decent chat with the two of the cops over there who informed us that all these bikes here, most of them are unregistered.
No license
No
plates.
license plate. If they get in an accident, nobody will be protected. And
Well, they also said they've been confiscating hundreds of them and they just get more.
Right. So who's coming up with the capital for all that? What is the motivation to have all these parked motorcycles next to this hotel? Who negotiated the contract? Look at this hotel. It's a piece of garbage. It was due to come down. Look at the facade. Who negotiated the lease terms under which the city, I think, or maybe somebody is paying a lot of money? Somebody wrote an article over a value of $200 million to lease this piece of garbage from a company that's controlled by, I think, Pakistani people. Should we keep walking?
Yeah. But the other thing that we're noticing is that I've never seen people lining the streets like this for a Mexico parade before.
Well, it is Bidenomics at work. We're building the city out from the bottom up,
middle
and the
out.
middle in, and you know, then I'm going to start yelling at you because that's what Joe Biden does. Reading from the Book of Moron, as you say.
Such an idiot. He's written the Book of Moron.
He is the moron.
It's
in the
his
Book of Moron.
autobiography.
Yeah. I think we've done I Moron already, right? I Robot.
I think we spoke about doing it. We'll have to check if we did it. I for idiot we were going to do.
Yeah. But you know when does the parade start? I mean,
I don't know.
10 o'clock at night or something? I mean, what are all these people doing here?
I don't know, but I wonder how many are relatively new arrivals making a mess.
Find out.
But it's not just the issue of the city spending $200 million per year for people to stay in $200 a night hotel rooms. I mean, certainly there's municipalities around the country where $200 could pay the rent for a month for a one-bedroom apartment, or certainly half a month. It doesn't make sense that you'd select a location where the cost of hotel, and because this is also having a negative impact on New York's tourism industry if a certain number of hotel rooms are taken up by
Absolutely.
people who...
Exactly. I have a friend who was visiting town last week, and he's very wealthy and could afford to do this, but he told me that he was, quote, only paying $550 a night to be in a hotel. He wanted to stay on the park, Central Park South there, and he was told that a room in the hotel he wanted to stay in was $1,700 for a standard room.
Jeez.
You know, you gotta understand how bad the situation is. If two certified idiots, our mayor and our state, are both finally criticizing the Biden administration for their policies on immigration, if those idiots can see the idiocy of what the federal government is doing, that just tells you how much of a moron. He's redefining. You know, he's what do they say? He's defining deviance downwards. I mean, he's bringing moron below.
Reducing the bell curve on moronism.
He's changing the whole context for determining moronic behavior. You know, there's a moron, and that compared to Biden, a moron is Albert Einstein.
A moron has got so much more on Biden.
Right.
It's hard to describe.
Yeah, we were talking about Coach Ditka.
Yeah.
You know, and that wind-up they used to do on Saturday Night
The
Live.
Bears.
Well, imagining how powerful Ditka was and how great he was.
Right.
We have to have the opposite exercise with Biden. You know,
Right.
is Biden dumber than Red Skelton playing the drunk? You know, I think he is. Is he dumber than the guy in Fawlty Towers, the major? You know.
I think we've entered the weed section, Charles.
Yeah. And this is the meat of the sandwich here, so to speak.
Yeah. We have a Ram truck. I'm not sure what it's going to ram.
Here are the floats.
Look, here's an electric Mustang for the police.
Right, but here are the floats.
Oh yeah, look at that. Charles, speaking of Ram, there's a lot of attention being paid to a video of some 17-year-old morons deciding.
Good luck with getting through that.
Some 17-year-old morons stole a car, went out joyriding, and decided they're going to crash it into a guy just riding his bicycle. He smashed the windshield, flipped over the car, smashed his head on the street. The guy's dead.
Right, and instead of having all these BLM riots, where people just go and burn down property, the supposed spokespeople for African Americans should be out doing good work, going around to the communities and saying, listen, this has got to stop. This is crazy land.
That's psychopathy. I mean, that's an amoral. We've got literally an amoral generation that thinks if somebody's down on the ground, it's time to punch them in the head repeatedly. And if you steal a car, life is a video game. You just go around crashing into people on their bicycles. This is like the police band. Who knew that existed?
Speaking of fiddling while Rome burns.
Did you know the police had a band?
I know. But it's like fiddling while Rome burns. Let's just get away from these people.
That's weird. I didn't know that. If we see Ibrahim around,
it's got the light. Sure, we'll let this very important bus go.
The other thing that happened is somebody recorded undercover police arresting some people on the subway who had been actually robbing somebody. And the person doing the recording was annoyed that the police had undercover officers and showing the faces of the undercover people. If you were going to make anything a rule on Twitter, disallowing the public to broadcast videos of undercover police operations is a reasonable policy to have, don't you think?
I guess. I haven't seen the video, but...
I mean, I'm just saying, if the police are actually doing their job and enforcing the law...
That's this hat. If. The most important
right,
word there.
But I'm saying we don't want to thwart them from doing that. If we reveal the identity of undercover officers who are actually doing police work, that seems counterproductive.
Right. Well, we did learn last week that supposedly $35 million worth of counterfeit goods was seized off the street.
Yeah, right. That was good.
That's only, 5 years after we started pulling that out? And you wonder how much of that stuff actually made it to the police station and how much was stolen by
the cops now have Louis Vuitton bags.
So yeah, here we are next to, fitting that we're next to St. Patrick's Cathedral, because either now or starting tomorrow, the Clinton Global Initiative is going to feature Pope Francis because Jeffrey Epstein wasn't available.
Il Papa.
No, seriously. I mean, Francis, when you look into his background, I mean, there were major league scandals under his watch when he was in charge of various regional sections of the church before he became Pope, and he's very controversial among Catholics. But to select him and for him to accept the selection of being the featured speaker for a foundation that doesn't lawfully exist, that is engaged in for-profit deal concocting at this thing for the next 2 days with a whole bunch of grifters. Evidently, he wasn't aware that in 2006, the son of a man who claimed to be working for the Catholic Church, and how does that work?
Oh, is that
whatever his name is?
Yeah,
Folieri,
who was dating Anne
Hathaway. Yeah,
right.
So by the 2006, the second Clinton Global Initiative, held at a time where there were no articles, no bylaws, no compliant audit, no 990s that made sense, all kinds of problems. They had realized that to do an initiative other than the library, they needed to create a new organization. So they tried to do that with Clinton HIV/AIDS Initiative in 2004. But my suspicion is that thing did not get approved. So by 2005, when they wanted to do the New York thing, the Clinton Global Initiative, they said, we couldn't get the first one across the line, so let's just do it illegally. And they've been doing it with an intervention during the Trump years. They didn't do it. But they've been doing these illegal gatherings since 2005. And at the 2006 one, Folieri is actually praised by Bill Clinton himself and immediately arrested for fraud.
Hey.
You know? And he got so brazen. He's the second person I've ever heard of do something like this. But
Who is?
Folieri. I'll tell you about the first in a second. The second, Folieri would hold meetings. That's kind of cool.
This is your ejector seat, Charles. Hold on to that.
I think not. So anyway, let me just, if I could finish the thought here.
Folieri.
So Folieri, he would dress up in a like a priest's outfit and hold meetings.
Sounds like Jack Smith.
In exactly, in Olympic Tower, dressed as a priest, claiming to have the ability to use his father's influence to get surplus property from the Catholic Church.
Wait, who's his father?
He worked as some functionary in the Catholic Church.
Oh.
Which, I don't know how that person was able to have children, but anyway, he claimed that his value added was that he could get a sweetheart deal. He could basically cheat the church and get the buyer a price for the property that's cheaper than he should get. And on that basis, somebody gave him a $100 million fund. And that person was shrewd enough to figure out that Folieri was cheating him. But Folieri would have these fancy, he gets the fund, immediately
What happened to this guy?
I think he was deported in the end, but he gets the money, immediately he rents an office in Olympic Tower. He has, beautiful assistants, he goes to parties, Doug Band gets him to Bill Clinton. He starts meeting all these fancy people, and next thing you know, he's dating Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's going down to the Dominican Republic to spend New Year's Eve with Bill Clinton on a private jet. Next thing you know, he sets up the Folieri Foundation, of course, which doesn't exist. And this time in 2006, they arrest him, and obviously Anne Hathaway is no longer dating him. But with that kind of a background, how could the people around the Pope let the Pope have anything to do with the Clinton Global Initiative? It's a complete fraud. Just go by these.
But this is the way all of these things work, Charles. This is what's come out, since Joe Flynn decided it would be a good idea to make fun of me out of nowhere on Twitter. They're running a ton of nonprofits. The Pope doesn't care. A million people are doing this.
What do you think the Catholic Church?
That's what I'm saying. It's
it could be a big scam going way back.
I think it is.
So, but just one thing I want to say about our friends, we've got the folks at UK Column were kind enough to give me an hour and a half to do an interview, and that's now up on YouTube and on their site, broadly talking about charity fraud and Biden and the Clintons. Now, this is new. This didn't used to be vacant.
Yeah.
This is Bidenomics, jokeonomics. It's ridiculous.
Was this Barnes and Noble? What was this?
No. This was I forget what. It was a high-end. Oh, the next one's vacant too.
That's what I mean. Wasn't Barnes and Noble one of these?
Not here. The only reason I can speak so definitively that Dillon Reed was right there, and this was I forget what it was. It was always a high-end something or other. Smilers is the same as it was back in 1982.
Yeah. Delhi. Well, that's actually at least a good sign. I mean, people are still buying lunch in this neighborhood.
But this everywhere you see scaffoldings, you see vacancies. This is
Crest Films was right down there, Charles.
Where?
Right down here.
Down there?
Are we on 53rd or 54th?
4th.
Was it on 53rd or 54th? I think
you said it was 54th.
Yeah, I think it was 54th. It was that building right there.
What year were you there?
1991.
It's just when I left in January of 91.
Yeah.
U-boat. That's new. Somehow I don't think this is a famous brand. Call me crazy.
No, it looks like they've got Radio Shack soldering equipment there.
Right,
what is that?
State
That's
police.
ridiculous.
I mean, this is a new thing. U-boat Italo Fontana. This must be some new brand.
It's junk.
As you go in, your second wife says, "Honey, you gotta dress stylish. Get some U-boat."
Those guys who the FBI was trying to say kidnapped Gretchen Whitmer, they all got exonerated, and also Ken Paxton.
That was great, yeah.
But it's all lawfare.
Right. So here, just these are I have books from here, and if you're ever thinking about getting books from here, what you don't want to do is get a book that has a redone binding. It'll look nice, but it actually harms the value of the book. As bad as it may look, you want, if you're collecting books, you want the original binding if you can get it. I guess that's a letter from
George Washington?
Don't think so. Anthony Wayne, it says. But this, these books are interesting, and actually, these sorts of books are I bet you probably have maybe one of these books. Do you
Cavalier
have
and Clay.
George Lucas Star Wars?
No, I have this one because it's about the guys who invented Superman.
The Amazing Adventures?
Yeah.
Do you have that actual
Cavalier
book?
and Clay. Not in hardcover.
Yeah. So these books most likely
And
are
also, oh no, I have the one where Wild Things Are.
That's you may well have the first edition.
Although, you know what? I don't have it. That would be, if it's still available, it's in a box somewhere in my parents' house.
But these books, you may not like the way they look. Oh, there's Ian Fleming. You only live twice. I have The Man with the Golden Gun. I have two of them actually. But these are probably first editions. This better be bulletproof glass.
Osama bin Laden.
That's Ozma of Oz. That's the book that inspired The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
Anyway, you either like books or you don't.
They like Maurice Sendak.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is a tribute to Maurice Sendak. But he has nothing to do with Star Wars or Superman. Who knows what's going on there, Charles?
That's right. And so you can go to Bauman Rare Books, or you can go here and get completely ripped off.
Did you happen to see Megyn Kelly interviewing
I
Trump?
have a hard time watching Megyn Kelly, so I haven't.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't like her attitude.
Oh.
I don't think she's that smart. And I had interaction with her producer. I guess we'll go over to Trump.
Yeah.
Her producer was the first one from Fox to reach out to me with the condition, keeping me on the phone forever, trying to explain what was going on with the Clinton Foundation and not really listening carefully enough. And then at the end of it saying, well, we want to have you on, but if you come on our show, you can't go on any other Fox show.
Bye.
And it didn't work out in the end. It just didn't make sense to me. Why would you be, if you're trying to blast a story out, why would you only want
other people talking about it too, so it doesn't seem like you're the only one who cares about this?
And then I then subsequently was on Fox a fair amount. I was down in the lobby, and I saw this shortish woman with a baseball cap and sunglasses, obviously very proud that she thought she was disguising herself from the hoi polloi, and it was Megyn Kelly. Trying to be invisible, but sort of drawing attention to herself.
Right.
And that's the kind of person I think she is. But
maybe.
So I'd hard pass on that one.
Well, but it was good to hear Trump say what he was saying, and she keeps trying to interject, and he just says, "Excuse me," and keeps going with what he's saying.
I
it's
like
funny.
that.
Yeah.
But that is the way you should do it, I think. If you're a guest and they've invited you on to hear your view on something, then you ought to be given a chance to give your view.
I agree, but Trump does have a little bit of a tendency to sometimes steamroll.
That's one of his likable features.
Yeah, I do like it when he just tells her, "Excuse me," and keeps going.
What are all these drivers doing? There must be, it's the UN General Assembly. So there's probably
a lot of assholes in these hotels.
Certainly. King Cole Bar. This is St. Regis, yeah. Let's just see the menu here. Brunch menu, Jason.
Astor Court.
French toast, $35. That seems reasonable.
Seems like a lot.
Let's see what else. And it's caviar service.
How much is that?
That's probably all reserved for the UN.
$230.
A la carte brunch.
Burger is $36. That's crazy.
Tuna tartare seems cheap. Probably get one piece.
Why is a salmon frittata $1 less than a burger?
I think we need a memo on that. In Washington, D.C., we have hire McKinsey to figure that
Butter,
out.
poached,
Steak
lobster,
and eggs.
gnocchi.
Nothing.
$36 for eggs Benedict.
$29 for your own omelet.
Why is eggs Benedict only $1 more than waffles? None of that makes sense.
I want a long memo. I want BCG, Bain, Booz Allen, and McKinsey. I want separate studies. Big teams to go. I want them to do round the world examination of brunch prices at fancy hotels.
This strikes me as something that was probably an elevator at one point.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think, one of the most expensive brunch places in New York. And places, full stop, in New York. I bet you a glass of wine's $30. Like standard house wine or something.
Eggs Benedict is 36. It should be 12.
Not anymore.
14.
Not anymore. I don't like it.
Really?
I don't think I've ever had.
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, poached eggs I like a lot.
Oh.
It's difficult to make. I have to figure out how to make poached eggs. But Charles, in just about 4 minutes, people are going to be able to join us for an in-depth conversation. I want to talk to you a bit more about what Trump was talking about and this whole lawfare with Ken Paxton and also this case. This wasn't Adam Dean Fox. He was already acquitted. This was 3 other guys. But it just shows us that the FBI is absolutely straight up making these things up.
Well, it's riddled. And the problem is that when you create federal or national police forces, all you're doing is you're incentivizing bad actors to corrupt those forces. And
We're
sadly,
going to talk about that.
There's a certain percentage of law enforcement that's crooked. A certain percentage of judges that can be bought.
Well, I think a certain percentage of anything is going to be crooked, and we'll have an opportunity to talk about that.
Why would
People
you
can
stand
also
in line waiting to get into the
Swatch watch store. People can also join us on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I want to talk to you a little bit, Charles, about this really great show that we did with Cullen on Friday. People have been giving me a lot of good feedback about that, and I don't know if people remember this, but
your hat.
You have actually personally met Al-Walid bin Talal. That's a great hat for shooting. I used to have, not quite that big, but I used to have a big giant sombrero I would wear on outdoor shoots, and it would prevent me from getting sunburned.
Now that is a funny picture.
Oh yeah, we did.
You in a sombrero shooting in the sun.
I have some photos of that. I should.
That should be the motto for your company.
When we did the concourse at Pebble Beach, we were outside all day, and I had a big sombrero.
It probably saved your head in roasting.
So here we are. Oh, there's that bearded guy, Charles. Well, okay, so we'll take a break here, and then we'll resume right outside. People will be able to join us for a little bit. I recognize that guy too. We've seen him before.
Yeah.
So we'll interview some Trump supporters here, and we'll be back in just a moment. Please become a sponsor and join us in the First Amendment Forum. We'll see what these guys have to say.
Very good.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be right back.